I co-established the Somali Institute of Management and Administration Development, Sept, in 1999. Sept is now a fully fledged university with 5,000 student population in Mogadishu. What drove me to do this was the simple fact that the civil war has completely destroyed the education system in Somalia. Today, we are rebuilding it, classroom by classroom, school by school. We have a long way to go, but with the help of the committed teachers up and down Somalia, I'm confident we still make it. We still can make it. Seeing so many Somali American students in front of me today is a stirring sight I will never forget. I know many of you young men and women are studying the Somali language, and that is a thriving college level major here in Ohio State University. This university is one of two only universities in the world who offers Somali language as a formal academic program. It's great pleasure to me to be here in front of you today, while I was last week in front of similar students in Rome Tre University in Rome, Italy, which offers Somali language and has a center for Somali language. This is one reason why I feel at home here, and I know that when our institutions of higher learning develop further, we will call upon Ohio State University to share its expertise with us. More on that later. You should be proud to be studying at Ohio State University, a great institution of higher education in the ranks of the world. I always feel at home in the United States. I'm deeply grateful to the United States government, which was the first Western government to officially recognize the sovereign government of Somalia. And this was the beginning. And this was the beginning of opening a new door for the Somalia of 21st century. For the first time in 2 decades, and I thank the United States for its unwavering support in our journey to bring peace and stability in Somalia. Somalis are proud of their relationship with the American government and people, and we will always cherish this friendly relationship. I'm particularly grateful to the US government, the Ohio State government, and the mayor of the city of Columbus, and the city government, social service organizations, and the American people in general for the hospitality and the opportunities they gave Somali refugees that came to Ohio to re-establish their lives in this great country. Somalis will always remember your spirit of kindness in welcoming refugees in their darkest hour of their lives. How inspiring that many of yesterday's weak and hopeless refugees are today's bright university students, university graduates, civil servants, community leaders contributing vigorously to the life in America. As I stand before you today, I think it's important to let you know that about what's really happening in Somalia, not just what you see on the news, which offers only the most narrow perspective of the events that are continuously unfolding in Somalia. And these are also often an inaccurate and depressing window onto the country. Let me give you a small perspective on Somalia. I have been in office a little over one year now, so it's still very early days in Somalia's recovery, but please take note of the enormous progress we have made. This has not happened without the support of the United States government. Take security. Now, beyond the sensationalist headlines, security has been our greatest priority and one of our greatest success. Security is the foundation of a functioning state in Somalia or anywhere else, and it's the prerequisite to stability and development. Reforms in the security sector, I'm delighted to say, are flourishing. We are steadily building the long-term, sustainable security forces and security institutions that will take over our own security and allow our international partners, to whom we are deeply grateful, to live in due course. New commanders and leadership are now in place in the security institutions. A campaign to instill discipline and national loyalty and integration to make our security forces have a national character is underway. We are allocating the majority of our resources to the security institutions to make sure that the journey to stable Somalia becomes very short. We are integrating various clan militias into a single effective force. We are rehabilitating defectors from Al-Shabaab, increasing security patrols, and taking tough decisions when human rights abuses are committed. Security operations across the country continue around the clock in our attempt to deter and prevent Al-Shabaab attacks on civilians and high-value targets in the capital, Mogadishu, and other cities throughout Somalia. The recent launch of Somalia National Security Council will improve coordination, planning, and strategic operations. This means we will be more effective in preventing terrorist incidents and protecting our citizens. We are fighting in a counter-terrorist campaign at the same time as reforming and retraining our forces. Doing either would be difficult enough for our starting point. Doing both simultaneously, as we must, is a truly formidable challenge. Although we have been tremendously successful driving Al-Shabaab out of Mogadishu and many other cities and towns with the support of our friends and sisters, brothers and sisters in the AMISOM force, there is absolutely no room for complacency. Today, there are clear evidences that Shabaab is not a threat to Somalia and Somali people only. They are a threat to the region and our neighboring countries. They are a threat to the continent of Africa and the world at large. What's happening in Nairobi today is an example how the existence of Shabaab remains a threat to the Somali people and the region at large. It happened in Somalia, in the courthouse, in the UN common compound, and in the cafeteria village in Mogadishu, whereby innocent civilians that were doing their daily life has been attacked and mercilessly killed. The same has happened in Nairobi, a mall that hundreds of people use every hour has been attacked, and innocent civilians have been killed, others are detained still. So the threat of Shabaab and their scourge is not local, it's a regional and international as well. It's about now, the fight against Al-Shabaab is as much an ideological as a military campaign. It's about education. It's about fighting back and making sure innocent young men and women are properly educated and protected against the poison of extremist brainwashing. It's about books as much as bullets. Now, what about the political progress since Somalia ended the transition? As you might ask, how Somalia is progressing politically? Well, here too, the picture is bright and full of promise. We have started to lay the foundations for effective, stable, and representative government in Somalia, the cornerstone of lasting peace. We signed the New Deal Compact in Brussels on September 16, which is a complete paradigm shift in how the international community engages with us and will help us to enlarge, accelerate, and deepen those efforts. Good governance is essential in all Somali institutions. It underpins everything we must do and are already doing. It lays the heart of public finance management reform, judiciary reform, constitutional development, institution building, the reform of our political bodies such as the national parliament and the right instruments to use as a democratic state. Political solution is the first step towards building a sustainable governance framework in our country. This is why inclusive politics is the first pillar of the compact. It holds everything else together and underpins the journey towards a new federal constitution by 2015 and a national election a year later in 2016 based on the new initiative Vision 2016. The recently established interim Juba administration is proof positive of our federalizing intentions. I will not allow the center to monopolize power in Somalia. My government is a radical reforming administration committed to good governance and the rule of law. Our parliament, where we have introduced and ratified legislations on setting up local administrations, public finance management, investment, and much more, is now functioning properly and is surely one of the world's most vigorous legislators. People who sacrifice their public holidays to work and continue in order to shorten the journey that we are undertaking. It has approved the government budget on 3 occasions, and our expenditure is in line with that budget approved by the Parliament. Public finance management does not sound very interesting or worthy of comment, perhaps especially when you are a student with more exciting things to study. But it is as important to Somalia as it is to our international partners. And here again, we've made enormous progress. Our central bank now has a modern facility since the collapse of the state in Somalia in early 1990, such as the SWIFT code and secure high-tech biometric system to pay an electronic transfer that works as a standard procedures with the world. I have just appointed a new central governor, one of a few women in the world to occupy such a distinguished position. The first woman in the Somali history to be a governor in the central bank. Another sign of our progressive practices is that other critical reforms are also underway. We have restored our relationship with the World Bank and the IMF after 22 years absence. This is, in the longer term, is the way towards arrears clearance. Norway is assisting us with direct budgetary support through the special financing facility. Turkey is also supporting the Somali government as a budget support. For the first time in Somalia, we have advertised the positions of the Accountant General and the Auditor General in order to get highly competent and professional people all over wherever they are in the world. We have established a very clear policy which indicates a zero tolerance policy on corruption. Let me conclude with a couple of challenges, one for Ohio State University and another for the Somali Americans here with me today. As a major land grant institution, Ohio State University has a unique ability to assist us in building the capacity of our higher education institutions, which now all that exists in Somalia is a private. It's only now that Somali government is establishing or reinstituting again the Somali National University, which many of us are proud to be their students 22 years ago. In the early 1960s, when over 17 African countries including Somalia, gained their independence, President Kennedy asked American governors if they could help develop the capacity of these newly independent countries in the African continent. I have been warned about saying the name of your football rivals too loudly, but the University of Eastern Michigan responded to the call to support institutions of higher learning in Somalia. Our famous College of Education in La Folle was built and supported by our friends at the University of Eastern Michigan in the United States. We are hugely grateful for this historic contribution of the American people and government, and we are once again looking for further collaboration with the international partners at this critical point. In my recent visit in Washington last few days, I met with the administration at different levels, and we have been discussing how we can revive all those cooperation agreements that the United States was having with Somalia. And many of them we signed it, others are in the process of modification to adjust with the current context and the current situation. I say to you today that this is a great opportunity for Ohio to compete with other American universities. Not with the sports, I said, but with helping Somalia. Now, a challenge for the young Somali Americans in front of me today. Let me really concise here our 4 words: your country needs you. Come and help rebuild our great country. Come as pioneers and help heal Somalia after the traumas of the past 22 years. Following in the footsteps of many Somalis who have already come to rebuild their homes and careers in Somalia. Come and see for yourself the inspirational rebirth of a nation. You will find an international airport which is busier than ever and opening new connections to the world all the time. You will live with cargo ships, the streets full of new shops, restaurants and hotels, and the markets through the traders selling goods from across the world, roads heaving with vehicles including smart yellow taxis, and young boys playing in the light in the middle of the night in the Mogadishu streets. You will see the children going to reopened schools in new uniforms. Every time I see all these, I have to be myself and ask, is this really happening here in Somalia? Why I say that? I was there in Mogadishu a day, one of the mornings, where no one single student goes to a school. Today, more than 100,000 students, which mostly going to private schools before September, are there all over Somalia. The Somali government has put in place a new initiative called Go to School, whereby 1 million students will be going to public schools for the first time in 22 years in the next 3 years. The academic year that started September 8 this year is enrolling 100,000 students in public schools. The government has recruited 1,000 teachers, retrained and sent them all over Somalia to start that public schools. And this is the first time public schools are appearing in Somalia. In the higher education, we have high number of universities where the graduates are today working in all walks of life in Somalia. But we have not yet one public university. Somali National University will soon be re-established, and there are teams working on it. And that's why I'm today being to Ohio University to take its part in the re-establishment of Somali National University. I'm honored to lead a government full of patriotic men and women from Somali diaspora. We have Americans, Canadians, British, Australians, Swedes, and many others who have returned to assist the government in an important position in the government. Many more have come back to establish businesses throughout Somalia. They are contributing to the recovery of Somalia alongside Somalis who never left Somalia. As President Kennedy once said, to Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. This is true to the President of Somalia today. More than half a century later, I repeat that call to you on behalf of Somalia. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for this opportunity to speak to you today in a home, away from home. Students, I wish you very success with your studies, and I hope that many of you here today will find your way to Somalia in the months and the years ahead. You will be most welcome when that happens. I thank you very much.